Sweet music to my ears. Steve Bannon scared to go to the pokey. Here's the video.
For every conservative American, this is what happens in the last days of a dying regime. They will never shut me up now if they kill me first. I have not yet begun to fight.
That's a blessing. Okay, let me give you the background. Steve Bannon, ladies and gentlemen, was arrested and did the Perp walk. Steve Bannon is facing a new criminal indictment in a case similar to the fraud investigation for which he was pardoned by Trump just as the former president was leaving office, and is now preparing to hand himself in on Thursday, the Washington Post reported. So that's already happened. So let me highlight what went down. Now remember, Trump decided to pardon his buddy for stealing money from actual Trump supporters. Steve Bannon is a con artist. He's been a con artist for a very long time. Now his crimes are finally catching up with him, and he does not have his master, known as Donald Trump, to protect him. And the president does not have any authority over charges that are not federal. So it doesn't matter. Even if Trump was still in office, he has no jurisdiction over what Manhattan does. There's more. In the 2020 case, Bannon and several other people were accused of defrauding individuals who contributed to a $25 million We Build the Wall campaign, which promised to construct a barrier across the southern U.S.-Mexico border, a complete lie. In a statement released to several journalists, Bannon suggested the charges against him are politically motivated and somehow linked to George Soros, the Jewish billionaire philanthropist who is often the target of right-wing conspiracy theories. So let's be very clear. Bannon is being prosecuted for theft, for fraud, for being a con artist. That's it. The individuals he is stealing from still got his back. Why? I want you to think about this. This exists where? In cults. That's where it exists. It also exists in churches who are de facto cults too. That's what's happening. Remember, as I've said before, Donald Trump is the leader of the largest cult ever known to man. He's the leader of the cult. Steve Bannon is one of the executives for this same cult. He's one of theirs. And because he's one of theirs, he will be able to basically do whatever he wants to do, because occultic thinking is this. They will continue to move the compass of morality in order to never judge their esteemed leaders. That's how it operates. There's more. Bannon also makes reference to police recently visiting his New York home after receiving false reports of an armed man at the premises, while stating, "They will have to kill me first," before he and Trump stop fighting for their cause. The exact details of the new charges Bannon is allegedly facing have not been revealed, but it is connected to his obvious crimes. Now, here's another dynamic. What is Bannon doing? Why is he saying this is politically motivated? Why is he talking about he has not even begun to fight? Because he's creating an atmosphere to make himself the victim. You see, he has learned that being the fragile white man in one context helps him in another. Now, he will be the same person that says on his show that he's a man's man. He's tough and unapologetic and all of these things. But he's a victim as well when it suits him. There's more. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office, okay, Manhattan DA, they opened this investigation into Bannon shortly after Trump pardoned his longtime ally as he was leaving the White House in January 2021. That's a report from CNN. The Justice Department wrote in its motion, this is a different dynamic, this is now Trump. The Justice Department wrote in his motion about Judge Cannon. Now remember the connection here. Trump, he's going to have that same perk walk, hopefully, at least get indicted, if nothing else. The judge who was in charge of looking at this case to figure out if, in fact, a special master was needed, has ruled in Trump's favor. So the DOJ did what? They appealed it. Trump is unhinged by this. The Justice Department wrote in the motion to Judge Cannon, who is a Trump-appointed judge, the declassification power falls upon the incumbent president, okay? Not any of the former president, because it is the incumbent president who bears the responsibility to protect and defend the national security of the United States. So let me go ahead and put this together. Joe Biden could actually resolve this immediately, but he chooses not to. He's an institutionalist. Joe Biden could simply say, based on this executive order, I'm providing clarity, that executive privilege and these particular executive powers do not permeate beyond the presidency. He could also direct his DOJ secretary to do the same thing. The attorney general could do the same thing and say, listen, here's your clarity. A former president has no power, thus said the Constitution, right? They're not willing to do that. They're not willing to just create the clarity. And here's why. Not because they can't, but because they believe that the wheels of democracy and the judicial system will turn in their favor. I would not be so ready to make that conclusion. I would not make that assumption if I were president of the United States. You can provide clear clarity right now. Now remember, the filing is simple. The DOJ is making a very simple argument. What is the argument? That declassification only exists with the current president. I mean, damn, that's a stretch. That's complex. That now needs to be ruled upon in a federal court? Come on now. Think about it. You mean to tell me there's a question if somebody who's not president of the United States, not working for the government, has zero intelligence executive authority, that they perhaps maybe are able to declassify information? Of course not. So what did Trump say? Here's his unhinged rant about the appeal. So now the FBI, Trump says, and Biden Department of Justice leakers are going to spend millions of dollars. Now he's concerned about money. Millions of dollars and vast amounts of time and energy to appeal the order on the raid of Mar-a-Lago document hoax by brilliant and courageous judge whose words of wisdom rang true throughout our nation. Instead of fighting the record, setting corruption and crime that is taking place right before their very eyes, they spied on my campaign. Goes on to say, they leak, lie, plant fake evidence, allow the spying of my campaign, deceive the FISA court, raid and break into my home, lose documents. And they ask me, as the 45th president of the United States, to trust them. No, they're not asking you to trust a damn thing, nothing. Okay? So what is Trump doing? Trump is throwing everything at this. Planting documents, spying on my campaign, the hoax at Mar-a-Lago. Sir, did you have classified damn information or not? That's one thing he's not saying. He's not saying in any of these press releases, these rants on Truth Social, he's not saying, hey guys, I never had classified information. I'm completely innocent of these particular investigations. I'm innocent of any potential charge. All of these accusations are simply untrue. He's not saying that. He's not saying that because he knows good and damn well he did exactly what this investigation suggests. He stole classified information, not just classified information, but classified information that is above top secret. That's different. These are special access programs, according to the latest report, that he now has access to. Please understand the dynamic of special access programs. Typically, the president of the United States is not even aware of these special access programs. You have what's called a control officer. The president will only be made aware of special access programs if he needs to know. That is what this man had in his possession. That is the reason why the federal government has taken it to the extreme. All right. Dan, thoughts here?
I think you're really nailing it there near the end when we're getting to the crux of their victim complex that you have, especially throughout the Republican Party, especially throughout Trump's Republican Party. You have people like Steve Bannon who, on the one hand, are turning, like, they're villainizing immigrants. They're villainizing pretty much anyone they disagree with. They're villainizing Muslims. Steve Bannon, I remember when he was just becoming part of the Trump circle, had this book, this like right nationalist book that was from Europe about how you had to basically purge immigrants out of a society in order for the white race to survive, so to speak. So this is the people that Trump is really having in his inner circle, and the people that he really sees as his biggest strategy type people. So this is something we should worry about if Trump or anyone like Trump in that orbit gets in office anytime soon. But the thing that makes them the weakest, the thing that we're kind of owning in on, is that they always like to play the victim, even though their ideology tries to say that they're strong men, they're super powerful, they're all of these different things. So it's really good to call their bluff in moments like these when he's walking around with the silver handcuffs you don't get to take to bed with you. And he's just so sad doing that little perp walk. It's fun to watch.
It's amazing to watch. I watched it for the last couple of days, sir. Fun every time. All right.